You're fine. Good evening, everybody. It is 7 o'clock on Monday, January 15th, 2024, and we're going to call this regular City Commission meeting to order. We have a roll call, please.
Mayor Gary.
Here.
Commissioner Bauer. Commissioner Bospis Rath.
Here.
Commissioner Gage.
Here.
Commissioner Habusta.
Here.
Commissioner Marble.
Here.
Commissioner Rubenstein.
Here.
And that answers that question, yeah. All are present and accounted for.
You knew I was coming.
All right, if everybody could please, that can stand, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, everybody. If everybody could please silence their phones, and if commissioners could hide them away in your drawer, please. I'd appreciate it. Item number 4 is mayor comments and general announcements. Right before you, Dave, sorry. Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day and is celebrated as a day of service to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s life, legacy, and fight for civil rights. Dr. King was an American minister who led a life of peaceful, active protest against the crippling injustice of racial segregation and poverty in America. The permanent observance theme is remember, celebrate, act, a day on, not a day off. I thought Commissioner Bauer would enjoy this, but I went through all of our meetings for the last year, and I just wanted to do a brief recap, and I don't have any slide presentations or PowerPoints. I'm sure that city manager will
Clearly,
do
you
that for us
were
later.
wrong.
Gives you time to get your computer geared up. So in 2023, we had 23 regular meetings. We had one budget meeting. We had one Twin Saults meeting again. We met for a total of 1,751 minutes, which is 29 hours, 70-minute average per meeting. And in talking to some people at MML last week, that's about average for many communities across the state. Some of the things that we did of major significance, I don't want to, just gonna, okay. In January, we did the bid award for the Carbide Dock project that I know everybody's heard a lot about, $21.8 million, bid award for Easter Day Avenue. We did a budget amendment for the MDOT I-75 Business Spur for the crosswalks. I think some of these things happened, they seem like an eternity ago, but they were significant projects. And we also had adoption of the city's 5-year master recreation plan. In February, we did a reimbursement agreement with Cocosing Alberici Trailer LLC for the reconstruction of South Street between 12th and the dock entrance for $182,000, thanks to the engineering department and administration. In March, we celebrated U.S. Coast Guard Volunteer Award for LTJG Matthew Vieira, who volunteered over 1,200 hours to wrestling programs and did fundraising within the community. In March, also, we approved the allocation of SEAL Operating Fund money for curling stones to be used. Thanks for DPW for adding another entertainment opportunity at the Puller. In May, we had a presentation from LSSU Interim President Dr. Lynn Gillette on their transitional update at Lake Superior State University. We also approved some bids for new roofing at 538 Ashman and 540 Ashman Street to Great Lakes Roofing, a local company, for $97,000. In June, we accepted the engineering proposal for Sault Ste. Marie I-500 Raceway Enhancement Project to OHM engineers for $330,000. Also, the fire department has an EMS service agreement with Sugar Island Township that month. In July, the fireworks venue changed to the airport. Seems like an eternity ago, doesn't it? In August, we had a report from Officer Trevor Adkins, who's the 2023 Annual School Resource Officer. In September, we had our Twin Saults Joint Commission Council special meeting. where they inked a mutual aid agreement for fire services, and we had updates from tourism, economic development, the International Bridge, Great Lakes Cruising, and we exchanged keys to the city. In October, we have a public hearing and consideration of our LDFA 5-year extension, which we are still waiting on. In November, we authorized purchase of a street sweeper, $351,000. I know that will be near and dear to some people in downtown's hearts. In November, we also appointed Jay Gage to fill the vacancy left by the unfortunate passing of Shane Miller. We also approved an MOU and an allocation from the SEAL Operating Fund for the Outhouse Consortium's Ashman Creek Trail System Development Plan for $30,000. And in December, we had our annual audit presentation for the year, which was spotless. And we also accepted the splash pad donation, and we had our meeting at LSSU. Last year, we did 53 appointments to the city's 22 boards and commissions, and there are 133 people that serve on those boards and commissions. So it's very important to the city. Some of our goals and some of my goals, I think, we all believe in accountability, integrity, transparency, and honesty on this commission. And I know that we want to continue to improve our relationships with legislators, Lake State, Sioux Tribe, U.S. Coast Guard, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario, and our other federal and state and tribal partners. I think I would like to see a goal when we go to goal setting of having a better commission. That's me and everybody to advocate for education, MML, and other opportunities to be better and to represent better. MML is shifting, as I have said before, to a building community wealth program. So I'd like to see us focus on some of our programming, maybe a retool of the ERA group that was formerly outstanding. We have Headwaters North, our smart zone, which hopefully we'll get our 5-year extension inked here soon. I think Brian and is going to go to Lansing, I think, and shake some trees. We need to renew our legislative agenda items because we will be going to the legislative conference in March. And I know that we are all very concerned with our responsiveness to our constituents. So we have a lot of projects to do this year, and Brian and engineer have talked about it a lot, but Carbide and Easter Day will be completed. Wastewater treatment plant will be beginning. The Meridian Street project we're talking about this evening. Power Canal non-motorized trail should start taking form again on the other side of Ashman, and of course the I-500 project. I just wanted to say I'm really, in reading through it, I think, and I left out just about everything, but we did a lot. We have a great commission. I enjoy serving with everybody, and thank you for everything you do. So look forward to a great 2024. Moving on into item B, which is proclamations and recognitions. City Manager, do you want to introduce the famous Dave Thomas?
Dave Thomas, the I-500 Committee, is requested to present to the Commission about some of the activities leading up to the 2024 I-500.
Well, thank you for inviting me again this year. I made it this time. I know last year I kind of fell off my schedule, so I apologize for that.
We were going to break it up.
Yeah, I figured I'd break it up before somebody else did. Things are progressing very well right now. We started off about a week and a half behind schedule. Cold weather has come in. The snow hasn't. Both are blessings for us because we need cold weather and not snow. A little bit of snow towards the race would be perfect. We can build up banks and stuff like that. But we've had a tremendous amount of volunteers that have showed up. They're going to run 24/7 watering from now on for the rest of the month until race week, anyways, if they can. As long as they got bodies, there'll be people there. So that it's coming together rather well. We have a new title sponsor this year. Rex Wheeler owns Wheeler Trucking and Owasso Speedway in Owasso, Michigan. He is so it is the Owasso Speedway 55th I-500 this year, fueled by Wheeler Trucking. We also couldn't get this done without assistance from people like Rex Wheeler and his company, as well as Meyer and Alta, GFL, Quaden Casinos, Woody's Traction Products are just a few of our top-end sponsors that support the race and allow us to pull it together. As I'm sure everybody knows here, where everybody involved, either on the race committee or on the board, we're a 100% volunteer organization, and we rely on money to come from elsewhere to be able to put it together, and then, of course, people to show up on the first Saturday in February to be able to pull it off and bring everything together. Like I said, things are progressing well. We don't anticipate any issues. Got Robin the insurance last week. She got it back saying, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. So, and it always is wrong. You have to. I'll thank you in advance. What's that? Yeah, again, it always is. I want to thank you in advance for approving our liquor license tonight. It's on the agenda. Any questions at all?
Any questions from the commission? Commissioner Boss's wrath.
Hi, Dave.
Hi.
Hello. Quick question. I don't know if you know the answer offhand, but how many teams do you have right now?
Boy, I should
I
look that
know.
up. I'm going from memory from the last meeting on Thursday last week. I want to say that we had 44 teams registered for the I-500. We run a field of 38, so that means there's 44 sleds. Some teams will have 2 sleds. That means we're going to send 6 people home, at least. I've seen the vintage snow race has been building for the last week. They just made a big push on it online. I don't know the number of sleds. I want to say there was 30 in the 600 mod race, and over 30, I want to say, in the Meyer Pro Shootout.
Okay, thank you.
That'll cover the 4 main races that we'll
Yeah.
have throughout the week.
Awesome. Thanks.
Commissioner Gage.
I just wanted to say thank you to you and all the volunteers for making that track. It's such an important thing for our community, and I know that more than just me, but a number of folks in the community have been a little nervous because it's not been very cold, and so just I mainly wanted to say thank you. And you feel real confident that we're gonna have no problems. We're good.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're 100%. It's
Fantastic,
Yeah,
great.
the worst it ever was I want to say it was 6 years ago, and it was the Thursday before. It was 10 days before we were going to park cars, and we were standing on the hill, and it was raining hard. It was raining hard, and it got cold on Saturday morning, Friday night, and we built in 10 days. So it wasn't a very good track. They were running in the mud inside of maybe 150 laps, but we got lots of time now. Things are going really well. Like I said, we've had a great turnout. So absolutely, it's going to go.
Any other questions? Mr. Marble.
I want to say thank you as well to all the volunteers and everyone up there doing their hard work. I know it's it's a long process. It's a lot of work, and just a huge thank you. It's a big for this community and all the businesses and everywhere, and thanks again.
Thank you very much. You're welcome.
All right, well said. Thanks for everything you do, Dave. And I went by there a couple hours ago. It looks pretty good, actually. It's
Lights are
starting to
on.
take shape,
Yeah, they started laying blue ice, I think, yesterday. So
Yeah. It's looking good. Thank you to you and all the volunteers, and we look forward to a great race.
Perfect.
55th annual. Thank you.
you're welcome.
You don't have to stay for the whole meeting if you don't want to. We'll move into item C, public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments on any of our scheduled agenda items? And we got you down, yeah. Anybody else? Okay. What we'll do is we'll call you up when the item is introduced, so. Moving on into item D, the consent agenda. Deputy City Manager Robin Troyer.
Thank you, Mayor. Under the consent agenda, 1, approval of the City Commission meeting minutes of January 2nd, 2024. Item 2, acceptance of the Parks and Recreation Board meeting minutes of September 26, 2023. Item 3, appointment of Heidi Wilson to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board for a term to expire July 1, 2025. Item 4, consideration to apply for a Spark grant for the Malcolm Park ball fields. Item 5, consideration of annual guideline resolution for poverty exemption. Item 6, consideration of addendum number 1 to the 2023 dock use agreement with Famous Sulaks Cruises, Inc. Item 7 is from the International I-500 Project, authorization to sell liquor on city-owned property for the I-500 snowmobile race on Saturday, February 3rd, 2024. And item 8 is approval of the consent agenda items as presented.
Thank you very much, Deputy City Manager. Does anybody want any item further explained or would like to remove anything for individual consideration? Seeing none, Commissioner Bauer.
So move that we approve tonight's consent agenda.
Support.
Moved and supported to approve the consent agenda. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? That motion did pass unanimously. Moving on into F, Communications. City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next is Joel Nolan with the Community Action Agency to give an update about Dial-A-Ride, as well as requests an additional $6,000 in their appropriation to fund some services with Dial-A-Ride. And Mr. Nolan will give you an update on some of that stuff.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Let me say something real quick.
Okay.
Is the mic on?
Yep. I'm Joe Nolan, Executive Director. I have my board chair from Community Action here as well, Kathy Tuarty, and one of our riders who wanted to share a few things today as well, Ms. Deb Beamish. She's been one of our riders for quite some time of public transportation for the city. 80% of our riders are senior disabled. Deb is both, and she just had some things she wanted to share with you today. So,
Excellent.
Okay.
Welcome.
Hi, my name is Deb Beamish. I came tonight because it's very, very important for everyone to know how much services of Dial-A-Ride are needed for people like myself. I consider myself a good example of the population that Dial-A-Ride does serve. I'm a widow, I'm disabled, I'm a senior, I'm very independent, and I'm low income. And it would take a huge gouge out of my Social Security to take a cab back and forth. It just isn't possible for me. And I don't have family to take me around like I want to be. And like I said, I am very independent. Monday through Friday, I buy a Dial-A-Ride bus pass for $20, which gives me 11 rides. Monday through Friday, I can take care of my business as far as appointments, doctors, dentists, going to different places, appointments, businesses that are open Monday through Friday. On the weekends is where I'm really hoping that you will see it to resume Saturday and Sunday buses. On Saturday and Sunday, for people like myself, it's very important that we can get around. We can go shopping. And if we can't go shopping, then unfortunately, money won't be going from our pockets back into the community. We'll be using online shopping, and I really don't want to do that. I'm a lifetime resident of Sault Ste. Marie, and I want to give back. But if I'm not able to get around and go shopping, then, I do what I have to do, put it that way. On Sunday or on Saturday, I do a lot of socializing. I want to go to church. I want, see my family if I can, or my friends. It's very important. Like I said, I'm very independent. I want to do these things, and it's just, I'm not able to go to church right now. And so I watch or I listen on the TV in the morning, on Sunday morning. It's not the same. You don't get the same fellowship. You don't get the same socialization. Another thing, too, is that the drivers that I know of for Dial-A-Ride are so helpful. They go above and beyond because the population that they serve need extra help. They're just not cab drivers. They just don't pull up and you get out and go. You know, if I have my dog and they can't get me right to where I'm supposed to go into, then they will take time and just go outside of the bus and just get me lined up and say, I couldn't get any closer than this, and they take me. They use the lift up and down. They help people with their groceries in and out, the elderly, and they help people with their walkers, wheelchairs. You know, they're amazing, amazing people, the drivers are. And it just would be so much easier on the population of Sault Ste. Marie that needs transportation to be able to have something that doesn't gouge them. You know, cab fares are just way, way too high for people like myself. And to be able to do this, you know, it would be wonderful. It was great before, and I called and asked, and I was just told there was no budget for it. And I just went, oh, man, now what do I do? You know? Well, I guess, I don't know. Is there any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Beamish? Sure, sure. Thank you very much. Good testimonial. Good way to start, Joe.
Nope, you're good right there. Joe Nolan, a few of you know all of you by now. Been at Community Action for 5 years. We've been operating Dial-A-Ride. 2024 is year 50. Community Action has operated Dial-A-Ride on behalf of the city, with the city, and it's been an amazing thing ever since, and still is, and appreciate your partnership, appreciate you having me here today. Just kind of want to reflect on some things that's going on, because some of you are like, wait, when did Dial-A-Ride stop operating Saturdays? So just in case that's going through your head, let me explain. October 1st, 2023, federal funding started cutting back, especially through ARP money, through CRSSA, all those other acronyms that came through during stimulus money. They cut back from 36% of every dollar we spend to 18. That's a huge drop in our budget. What also happened was the city appropriation was reduced to $80,000 once we started picking up some stimulus money, and that is still at $80,000. From 2012 to 2018, we received $111,300. In 2019, it dropped to $106,000. 2020, $96,000. 2021, $83,000, and it's been $80,000 for 2022 and 2023. So it's been really hard for us to compete, you know, but also, I mean, everybody else is going through the same inflation through everything, including labor. Our drivers are making $12.40 an hour to $13.20. That's our highest paid driver who's been here about 10 years, $13.20. They aren't just on the bus. They are getting out working with the clients, working on doing lifts and everything. There was an independent study done by Michigan State. I presented that to you last year. It was overwhelmingly positive survey responses from ridership, which is 80% senior and disabled. To break it down for you fully, 18% of every dollar spent in the budget is reimbursed by federal, 40% state. Rider fares are 12%. It was 10% when we took over. We increased rider fares to $2 and $4 to try to help a little bit, but we didn't want to push that because that shouldn't be where we make our money. We started doing ad revenue, and that now covers 5%. We've been trying to expand and create partnerships. We worked with WODA Group when they came to town for Osborne Commons and found a way to partner with them with that stop we have down there, and that brought in $53,000 in assistance. That's gone now. That was only about a 3-year deal, but it was another way that we've gone out to try to find that money and help offset those costs. Where we're going now, I'm here for one ask today, and that's to get funding to run Saturdays the rest of the year till September 30th, 2023. That would cost me, we did the math, about $6,000 right now. But what I really want you to be aware of is we're going to ask for probably about $105,000, and our appropriation was $80,000. And I just want you to be fully aware when we ask for that, and I present in a month or two from when we write the grant through MDOT. That's what's going to happen. We're going to approach you guys, and right now I have it estimated at $101,250 is my calculation what I think we're going to be asking for. Now, what do you get out of community action? What is this guy here asking you money? What's he give me? What's he provide for the city? Our agency, Community Action, is a $12 million budget. So Dial Ride's about 3.5% of that. That means we have full capacity to operate this. We have a finance department, AP, payroll, HR, workers' comp claims, government reporting, grant writing, all done already through Community Action. That it's honestly, I don't know who else could really pick that up with that capacity. I'm sure there's definitely out there. But continued professional education on government compliance between MDOT, FTA, and other uniform guidance is done at Community Action that Dial Ride program benefits from. We have a developed and strong connection to the transportation network as well as its state association and state office. Our board is consistently adopting new policies and procedures which include Title VI, limited English proficiency plans, etc., but compliant procedures that need to be done in the transportation, our board stays on top of and stays educated on. Myself, the executive director, I'm paid $0 on a Dial Ride budget. I have monthly communications with MDOT, local partners, and potential partnerships. I'm currently trying to write a grant with MDOT to facility infrastructure improvements. At the garage that it's at right now. So I've been working very hard on that, working with the tribe, working on partnerships. I'm paid $0 on a Dial Ride, and that's fine. That's what Community Action. That's what we do. We want to help make a service or increase the service, enhance it. Other grants we currently have, we have Mackinac County Transportation. So what that means is I have my transportation director and my mechanic up at the garage who's also being billed through our grants through Mackinac County, which means Dial Ride doesn't even pay for 40 hours a week for a director and a mechanic because we have that capacity. We're able to bill certain hours elsewhere. So that's just the general knowledge of what we're providing as a service provider. I think it's been a great relationship. I think it's been fantastic. I am very proud of how we've run Dial Ride, especially in the past 5 years. 7 years, whatever. I shouldn't say how long I've been there for, but like 7 years, I'd say. But that our ask today, though, is the $6,000 to operate Saturdays for our community riders for the rest of the year, our fiscal year, and just to be fully aware of our next ask when I approach you in about a month or two when we write the next grant. I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, and thank you, Deb. Any questions from the commissioners before we go to the city manager? Do you want to go to the city manager first?
You first.
Commissioner,
No, I
city manager.
just as kind of a point of order. So, is the request coming in from Dial Ride? If you should support it, we would look for a motion to increase the appropriation by $6,000. That would give us the authorization to be able to up it. I would like to say Joe and his staff have done a really good job with Dial Ride in terms of bringing in new revenue to kind of support themselves. Over the years, we have made cuts to the appropriation. I think it was the first budget cycle that I was up here, so that was probably fall of 2020, somewhere around there. And we had a budget gap, and all the appropriations took a hit, including Dial Ride, EDC and DDA at the time. So with that, Joel and his staff did go out, they beat the bushes, they created a lot of new revenue sources to offset that. So I do think it's worth mentioning and giving them big kudos on that as well. So
is it your recommendation that we approve it, or what is the
yeah, I would
manager's
recommend
recommendation?
it.
Okay.
I'd recommend it.
All right, Commissioner Bosses-Rath.
I just wanted to say I fully support the weekend, the Saturdays coming back. I haven't done this in a while, so I'm due.
It's okay.
Community action is dear to my heart. Okay. Ron is watching. To have people in the community members be brought downtown to your church, so many events happen on the weekends. There's always something going on in the Sioux on the weekend. And to help you and our fellow constituents come down and go around town, I think the 6,000 is well worth it. And I'm so glad you came up, Ms. Beamish, and talked. I'm done. Thank you.
Good comments. Commissioner Busta?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. One of the questions I had was, you mentioned weekends, and you had me at you're winning me over with Rise to Church, and so I'm wondering about costs for Sunday mornings as well, or Sundays as well as Saturdays, if you've calculated that, if you have an idea on cost for that.
It would be the same, since it's one rider, one driver, one dispatcher. If we did something mornings, I could probably find someone. I do have someone ready for Saturdays. Like if it were to pop up, I could ask for someone for Sundays, and even to do that morning shift, your 4 hours on a Sunday, and that'd be probably another $3,000.
Another $3,000.
So 9,000 total to run.
$9,000.
Because if
For a full
for that
week.
church crowd, that was the debate between Saturdays and Sundays. The church crowd really wanted Sundays. The ridership data shows Saturday had higher demand.
Thank you.
Commissioner Gage?
I had great notes, and then Commissioner Bosbus-Rath stole a lot of them, which is great. I just wanted to thank you, Joe. I mean, you run a great agency, and you know, I think that this Dial-A-Ride is a basic quality of life service for some of our most vulnerable community members, and I'm honored to currently be your liaison to the Dial-A-Ride board. I'm looking forward to the next meeting. I think it's next week. I previously served on the Dial-A-Ride board, and so I'm happy to be back. I appreciate you not only bringing Mrs. Beamish that can give a great kind of testimonial. It's great that you got support from your board chair, our former colleague Kathy Twardy. I think that in general, you know, you guys have proven, especially the direction that you've gone, Joe as director, that you're good stewards of the public's money, that you invest wisely and smartly. And I just wanted to say that I think Ron Callary would be proud as hell of you. So you do a great job.
Thank you, Jay. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Commissioner. Anybody else? Commissioner Bauer?
Yeah, have we had a motion yet?
Not yet.
All right, well, here you go. You want to make it?
No, I just have a quick question. I'm on the Community Action Board. I believe I need to abstain. Is that correct?
You could abstain from this if you'd like.
Not
Or
in
do
an
I-
advisory role, or are you actually on the board? Actually on the board?
He's on the board.
Yeah.
He's actually on the board? Yeah, abstain, please.
Okay.
So move that we appropriate an additional $6,000 from the general fund for Dial-A-Ride fiscal year 23-24 appropriation,
Support.
et cetera, et cetera.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any other questions or comments? All in
I-
favor?
I-
Sure.
I guess, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I guess my only comment would be, is there any additional possibility to fund Sunday mornings as well, or the $9,000 instead of just the 6?
City manager, that'd be a budgetary question for you.
Can we possibly address that during goal setting?
We can address this Dial-A-Ride. For the immediate one, we're not talking about a huge dollar amount, so I don't want to say that it's not possible. If the commission so chooses to go up the extra $3,000 to $9,000 for Sunday services, we will make it work within the budget. My frugalness is probably showing a little bit just because budgets are tight in general, but $3,000 for this, or an additional $3,000 with the $6,000 will make it work, if that's the direction the commission so chooses.
Commissioner Rubenstein,
Even though I have to abstain, I'm in full support of that.
if you have to abstain,
Happening.
you have to abstain from the conversation
Oh,
too.
sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question.
So, Commissioner Bosses-Rath,
If we add the Sunday, would you have the driver for the Sunday? Like if
I do not right now, but I could find one. Yeah, but no, I do not have one right now.
Commissioner Gage.
Should we move the 6,000 now, and then if you're able to find the driver and get everything set up for Sunday? Because I want to support it. I just don't know if we got everything in place to. I think let's just do the 6 now and then do 3 at the next meeting. Does that sound good?
Yep.
Wow.
We have motion and support on the table, so all in favor of 6,000 at this time signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed with a 6 affirmative and 1 abstention.
Come back soon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Someone else.
Thank you, Deb.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
You
you.
do run a great program, Joe, and Dial-A-Ride is critically important, I think, for people to get along, get around. I've had to use it myself and for my family, so. All right, so we'll move on into item G, which is business items. City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up first for commission consideration is a follow-up item from a couple of commission meetings ago. If you will recall that there was a potential request for purchasing some property up off of, I can't remember the area now. There was a request from some property owners to buy a city-owned property that was next to them. At the time, the commission asked us to go back and notice the property owners, I believe that were to the north of the city property, to see if there was any interest in it. Community Director Freeman gave them 30-plus days to respond after sending out the letters. We have not heard anything even up into this very point with the commission meeting. So we would move forward with our recommendation to sell the property for $1,500 to the property owners that are requesting it, so that they may expand their property to build a new house. So our recommendation would be a motion to authorize the sale of city-owned parcel 05153102600 to Lydia Mobley and Alex Stowe for $1,500.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Any questions for City Manager or Kelly Freeman, the Planning Director? Commissioner Bauer.
I just have one comment. In the end, it didn't matter that we reached out, but I'm glad we did.
Absolutely. Thanks, Commissioner. Anybody else have any questions or comments? Commissioner Habusta.
Yeah, just one comment, and it involves, what we have two sale of property items on the agenda today. My question, I guess, in regards to this, I see two different strategies. So one where we've notified neighboring, adjoining landowners, and the other one where we put it out to bid. I guess I just would love consistency, and I'd be all for putting everything out to bid myself. I didn't have a whole lot of time to do some research, but I looked at our sister city, Boyne City, and they bid out anything over $500 they put out to bid, and then it's a consistent strategy throughout. Like we'll see in the next property, there's property that people might be interested in that didn't know about it because they don't live next door to it, but it's city property as well. So I guess I would love to see a consistent strategy, and a consistent policy would be my only thought on that. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner. Commissioner Bauer.
Yeah, the only thing I wanted to say about this particular property is that if you weren't adjacent to it, it didn't really matter, like, who would want it, because it's not buildable otherwise. You know what I mean? So for anybody to make a bid and buy that property, really the only good that it would do would be preventing other people from using it.
Thanks, Commissioner. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
I guess
Commissioner Gage.
I guess I see it as consistent in that, you know, we reached out to the adjacent property owners and asked if they were interested in it. And then certainly with the other parcel, you know, we had two people say that they were interested at the same exact time. And I think in some respects that you know, with this parcel and with the next one, it's been talked about at two commission meetings now and certainly been discussed throughout the community. I think, you know, it's been discussed certainly. So I think that it's well known that these parcels are available, and if nobody was interested in buying this one, we reached out to them, then it's just what it is. So.
Thanks, Commissioner. So we are consistent with our city land sale policy, and each adjoining property owner has been notified, and so we have one sale at hand here. Does somebody like to make a motion? Commissioner Marble.
Motion to authorize the sale of city-owned parcel 051-531-026-00 to Lydia Mobley and Alex Stowe for $1,500.
Support.
We do have a motion and support to sell this piece of property to the Lydia Mobley and Alex Stowe. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
So we have 6 for the motion and 1 opposed to the sale. Motion passed. Item G, business items number 2. City Manager Chapman.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next is another land sale follow-up from a previous commission meeting. As the commission will recall, there was a request to buy the mentioned property within this agenda item. At the time of the meeting, there was another individual that came to the commission meeting, spoke up and had an interest in it. So in order to facilitate a sale of the property that's kind of efficient for staff and I, we are recommending using Gov Deals. We will put the property on Gov Deals. It's what we use to auction off surplus city equipment. We talk to Gov Deals. They do have the capability of doing land. With Gov Deals, we have to have the property signed off within 24 or 48 hours after the sale has closed. So in order to facilitate that short time frame, we are requesting the commission to establish a floor on this item, and anything above that floor to the highest bidder will be awarded the sale of the land. So, so with this item, the real action is to establish the floor. We're recommending a minimum bid of $10,000. With commission approval on the floor, we will move it into Gov Deals. We will advertise it. It'll be out there for probably a good 30 days or so. The sale will conclude at the time of the end of the survey. At the end of the sale, highest bidder will have a quit claim deed to the property, and there will be no further action from the commission on this one.
Thank you very much, City Manager. Any questions for the City Manager on this particular item? Commissioner Gage.
I just appreciate that you found a good strategy that kind of takes the city out of the equation. We just put it up, and whoever the highest bidder is wins, and that takes some of the discussion or any other kind of process out of the picture. It's just whoever has more money. So I appreciate you doing that.
Any other questions or comments? Commissioner Bospis Rath, would you like to make the motion?
Thank you, Mayor. Motion to direct city administration to sell parcel 051-156-623-00 via public auction with an opening bid of $10,000.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any other questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on into G, business items number 3. City Manager Chapman.
Thank you,
Must be a
Mr.
good one.
Mayor. We're excited for this one. Kind of a follow-up to our big state appropriation that we received. As the commission is aware, Senator John DeMoose was instrumental in getting us our $5 million appropriation for the car-by dock. In working through some of the paperwork with MDOT, they found an eligible office to administer the program to where we don't have to rebid any aspects of the project. We can keep it whole, and it's essentially just cash coming in for us to use in the project. So that's why it looks kind of a little goofy coming from the Office of Rail, but it works for us. So this particular item officially accepts the $5 million contribution from the state in the form of a contract from MDOT. So we look for a motion to authorize city manager to sign the MDOT Office of Rail appropriation in the amount of $5 million to be allocated to the car-by dock and Easter Day project.
Thank you, City Manager. Any questions or comments for City Manager or City Engineer? Commissioner Gage.
I just want to make a short comment to say that I greatly appreciate Senator DeMoose for helping the city get this appropriation. These are kind of difficult to get down in Lansing in any elected office, and so certainly his support is very appreciated. I think as a community, he certainly spends a lot of time here in the Sioux, and certainly it's clear that he cares about us, and so I just want to say thank you. I wish we had more support from a similar person in the State House. I think we got a lot of support in the State Senate, but hopefully in the future we get somebody good, maybe from Sault Ste. Marie, to be in the State House of Representatives, so we can continue to have both chambers helping us. So, thanks so much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Anybody else? How much state money do we have in that project? It's just kind of ironic, I think. I was just looking at the
So the
federal
total,
trust fund, 300.
total project's 32 million, right, ish, ballpark, some change. We've got the 5 million that we're accepting, or under consideration to accept.
$2 million.
There's $1 million from another MDOT, another $1 million from the MEDC. There's how much from Eagle?
$2,556,971 in the Eagle.
I guess I could look at the sources and uses on this.
That's what I was
It'd be
looking
a
at.
whole hell of a lot easier,
But just-
wouldn't it?
It's ironic that at our last meeting, we had to write an excuse letter, I guess, for having a deficiency in our project.
Yeah.
And we have this much state money. Obviously, they have a lot of faith in the project and a lot of faith in Sault Ste. Marie, and here we have a $5 million allocation.
Yeah.
So it's just ironic that sometimes you have to go through
So it's
some dumb.
300,000 for the Michigan
processes.
DNR Trust Fund grant, $1 million from the MEDC, $1 million from MDOT, 716,000 from Michigan Spark Grant, which is another DNR, 2.1 million for Eagle Shore Power Grant, $1 million from Brownfield, MDOT Category A, $845,000, MDOT Office of Rail, $5 million, Eagle Shore Power Grant, number 2, another 2.5 million. So it's considerable.
It is considerable.
We appreciate the state of Michigan right now.
We do. All right, any questions? Commissioner Hubusta?
Anything from our federal partners?
Federal partners kind of kicked the project off with $20 million in a build grant administered through MARAD. U.S. Department of Agriculture chipped in about $95,000. And to be fair, some of these state grants are pass-throughs from the federal government, but the state's name's on them, so.
Commissioner Hubusta, would you like to make this motion?
I would love to make this motion. Motion to authorize the city manager to sign the MDOT Office of Rail appropriation in the amount of $5 million to be allocated to the Carbide Dock and Easter Day project.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions, comments?
One last thing. Can we send a thank you letter to Senator Demus?
Um,
Direct staff to do that.
You don't have to direct us to, we already did.
Thank you.
But we'll do another one.
Just for me.
Been moved and supported. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed unanimously. Under G, business items, number 4, City Manager Chapman. More good news.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Depending on how you look at it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Up next for commission consideration is approval of MDOT contract 23-5010REV1. Look, for the short and sweet of the Meridian Street project from Easter Day to 8th, not 4th, to 8th. 12th, someday. From Easter Day to 8th. As the commission is aware, we put this out to bid a couple of times. They came back significantly over budget. This last go around, which we opened up a couple of weeks ago, it was still over budget, but it was manageable. It was about 119% over budget, so about 20% over budget. So with this item, we have 2 motions for you for your consideration. Motion to approve the resolution authoring the contract to be executed, and a motion for the budget amendment. So if you look at the sources and uses that's for this project, which is included in your agenda item, you'll see that there are a variety of different sources of funding coming in for the project. There's an MDOT grant, there's some repurposed projects that we've finally closed out that will take those excess funds dedicated to this project. Water and sewer capital funds chipping in for the underground utility, as well as a contribution from the general fund and $518,000 to it. So with this item, like I said, there's a motion to approve the contract, but also a motion for the budget amendment to fund the project with a breakout within the motion. So good Good news, we'll be able to do the project as it is financially planned right now. It did come back down with a couple of or after 2 bid cycles. I think the aggregate and the asphalt's probably still the high point for the project. Yeah, aggregate, the sand and all that stuff. We were able to cut down the project by not including a sewer that went up to one of the private structures up in that area. So this one will be strictly the road, pathway, and underground utilities. So,
Thank you, City Manager. Anybody have any questions for City Manager or City Engineer? Certainly a significant project and certainly a significant hint to the general fund, but it's something that we need to do, and I know that road has been temporary recapped with an expected life of, I don't remember what it was, when they did it, 5 years or something. It's
3
probably been
months.
15 years, so it's a mess, and I know that you fight with the underground utilities there every winter, so. Great project. Thank you very much for going back over it and over it and over it and over it to get it to work, so we appreciate that. We'd like to make the motion on this significant project. Commissioner Rubenstein.
Motion to approve resolution authorizing the city manager to sign MDOT contract number 23-5010 REV1 for the Meridian Street project number 0761.
Support.
Been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Commissioner Rubenstein, number 2.
Motion for a budget amendment increasing the project to $3,328,200 with $49,500 additional federal funding and $961,200 additional local funding, and of that, $518,200 from the general fund.
Support.
Support.
It's been moved and supported. Any questions or comments? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Both motions passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Item H, City Manager announcements and updates. I see
just a
a few
few
things in there.
Just a few, couple things, just as an FYI, we put out to bid some repair and replacements to the Polder's boiler system. We got those back a week or so ago. They came in under budget, right? Boiler, right? Yeah. Yeah. Easter Day and Meridian, speaking of Easter Day and Meridian, engineering is working with MDOT on securing some funding for pedestrian upgrades right there at the Easter Day and Meridian intersection. So the main crosswalks that go from campus to the Norris Center and the other piece of campus property there. Just as quick FYI, these ones aren't on the list. Canes Rink is expected to be open near the end of this week. We've had volunteers in their last week and a half, 2 weeks, and they've been flooding and taking care of it, so there's a good base of ice. It's cold enough now, we should be all set, so Canes should be opening up at the end of this week. The ski hill, a couple issues with the ski hill at this time. Not enough snow, for one. We're not able to make the runways that well, but we're having a hard time getting the part-time employees for the ski hill. Depending on if we get more employees and if we get more snow, we can open it up. But there's a good chance that we may only have one lift open this winter. So if we get more snow, we can have the other lanes, but we may only have enough staff to operate the one lift. So people have to hike kind of over to get up and back down. So not exactly the most ideal situation, but we're doing what we can. Just as an FYI, I will be out of the office at a city managers conference down in Lansing, January 29th to February 1st. And that is all I have for this meeting.
Anybody have any questions for City Manager? All right, moving on into item 8I, which is matters presented by the public. Is there anybody in the audience that would like to make any comments at this time? Former Commissioner Tuarte, no? Item J, matters presented by the City Commission. Commissioners, Commissioner Boss-Bisrath.
Just wanted to set a reminder, since we won't be meeting before the I-500 or the Super Bowl. So, Super Bowl, go Lions. Hey, you never know, right? It's the year of Michigan, I think. And also, I-500 is February 3rd. It will happen, so get on out there. It's a great time.
Good point. Hard to believe it's coming up that quickly, hey? Commissioner Rubenstein?
Just some positive news out of Lake State. The Higher Learning Commission, better known as HLC, recently approved an MBA program for Lake State, which I believe will be starting this fall. And there will be more info on that soon. And then congratulations to Lake State Hockey for sweeping Northern and taking home back the Capo Cup, much to City Manager Chapman's chagrin.
Commissioner Busta?
Thanks. Just a reminder to city residents that city ordinances do prevent people from parking, blocking the sidewalks. I know we have several individuals in our community with special needs who need that access to the sidewalk, as well as school children walking to school, especially this time of year for their safety. I would just remind city residents not to park on the sidewalks, blocking the sidewalks, excuse me.
Good reminder. Commissioner Marble, did you have your hand up? No?
I just wanted to briefly
Gates.
acknowledge that today was the closing of the Poe lock for the seasonal maintenance. Today,
gonna bring it up.
January 15th, it is that day every year. I've learned that information, and so I wanted to wish everybody a happy closing of the locks and appreciate all the wonderful residents of Sault Ste. Marie that helped to remind me of that. So thank you to everybody.
See, you got beat up on Facebook a little bit on that one, eh? Anybody else? Commissioner Bauer?
So move we adjourn this meeting.
Support.